闇の時代を告げる鐘が遠くなり響く戦う友よ今君は死も恐らず瓦礫の街を染めて沈む夕日はくれない愛する星の未来を守るためもう神の刃は人の愛祈りも超えて貫け立ち上がれ気高く前定めを受けた戦士よ明日の平和への礎となれ熱くなれ大きく裂け天に捧げし命よ弱き者の盾となれそして世界を導けきらめく星の海に浮かぶお前の面影人と会えない愛ゆえになど愛しい背中合わせの世界重ね会えない現実涙と共に捨て去れ何もかもさあ振り返らずに風になれ痛みを越えて駆け出せ立ち上がれ気高く前定めを受けた戦士よたとえ傷ついて力尽きても赤く燃え見事に散って星になった命よ時を超えその名前を上に刻もう Just forever 立ち上がれ気高く前定めを受けた戦士よたとえ傷ついて力尽きても熱くなれ大きく裂け天に捧げし命よ明日の平和への礎となれ赤く燃え見事に散って星になった命よ時を超えその名前を上に刻もう Just forever 「
Hello there, chat. How you guys doing? You ready to slay some communists? Or rather, talk about some communists that do nothing other than shit themselves on Twitter like any other VTuber. And communists, especially in the VTuber scene, are known to do very little. Well, one of them at least has a musical career while it lasts. But the more you shit yourself, the less people want to work with you. And that's probably going to end up her lot in life when that's over with. Let me get some music up before we actually begin this shit. I need my music. I need my chill music because communists are infuriating. But yeah, we're talking about commies today. Why are we talking about commies? Because commies are everywhere. And modern commies are very ineffectual. Either due to the fact that they haven't learned about communism properly, or they just swallowed some kind of Kool-Aid regarding it, because no one normal, knowing the worldwide history of communism, would ever want to adopt it into any kind of system. But before I keep talking about it, because I have a lot to talk about this, I hate politics in general, but if it involves VTubing, I can talk about it. I don't mind. We'll go through a lot of shit today, like the Russian-Ukrainian war too, because that unfortunately becomes relevant to today's discussion. But first, let me actually fix my microphone because it's a bit too loud. Okay, 80% boost should be enough. Yeah, mana. Mana is a lot worse than I personally thought, because I thought it's just some dumbass that just lost her shit on Twitter constantly and then on YouTube. But then I went to her VK profile. You know, VK, which is the Russian language. You could call it an equivalent to Facebook. And in there she, in there she posts some pretty vile things which wouldn't fly at all on Twitter. And I understand why she didn't post them on Twitter, because she would have gotten eaten alive, especially, you know, from the Ukrainian side of things. She would have gotten absolutely fucking obliterated. She's fucking lucky that that she actually exists in the space that she does, and she has her own little insular community on Discord, which I looked into for a little bit, but then I just kind of left because it's disgusting. And we go through a bit of that too, because Mana is that sort of person that kind of attaches herself to a cause, more than likely without thinking. If she actually had maybe a little bit of proper education on the things she's talking about, then she could have used all of that vitriol that she has deep inside of her for something good. But instead she decides to join failed causes, and communism, being a Marxist, is pretty much all of that. As Liberty Prime himself stated, communism is the very definition of failure, and it's not just it's not just some kind of propaganda that capitalists, that hardcore capitalists or imperialists, as Mana would call them, spew. It's just a proven thing. To give you guys a little bit of background, why am I even talking about communists in the first place? Well, I'm gonna really date myself here. I'm really gonna age myself up here quite a bit. Where I was born into the tail end of communism. I wasn't born for the worst parts of it, where I was living, but throughout the years I've heard stories, both from my family and from their friends, how it is, how life was like. I personally remember standing in queues to get food, because, you know, scarcity. There was no food at the shops. Like, getting meat, fucking forget about it. You were lucky you could get bread and sugar. I remember eating meals that consisted of bread, butter with sugar on it, and that was it. There wasn't any meat back then, because it wasn't just delivered. And, you know, this just wasn't any of it. And products like that were just incredibly scarce. And no one could actually get them. So people just formed amazingly huge lines to these shops, like all around the block. Things like that go all around the block. And it was terrible. I remember like standing there as a toddler, standing for like 2 hours to get into line and then see the empty shelves with everything. It was something. So imagine such a world where these people get to experience the same thing. Communism is a far-off dream. In theory, it's a very attractive thing. It leads to a utopia. Like a lot of sci-fi series, especially Star Trek. Star Trek is in a world of post-scarcity. Everyone can have anything. Like, nothing really runs out when it comes to like basic necessities and things like food, water, even like basic education and you know, getting work. Everyone can get that. In theory, there's no one that should have any like basic needs not met. And, you know, these things work in fantasy, but we're not at this stage of technology, if that's even will be possible in any century after we're all fucking dead, that we can manage to get to the point where the world is in a place of, you know, post-scarcity, that everyone can have anything and they can just pursue different goals in life, develop themselves spiritually, or develop skills they couldn't handle before because they, you know, had to provide for themselves and their family. But the fact that scarcity exists is just one thing, you know, that just keeps communism not really working. The other one, at least according to me, we're not going to go into like details about political systems and things like that, because communism has many faces. There's Leninists, there's Marxists, there's Stalinists, there's Maoists, there's the modern communists from Venezuela. Communism takes all kinds of forms, and we're not going to be discussing like what they actually are, because again, this is kind of fucking boring, and we have VTubers to talk about. But to circle back to what I was talking about, the other thing that keeps communism from succeeding the way the communists think it's going to succeed is basic human nature. Humans work together pretty well in small communities. Communities that know one another. Communities that are tightly knit, usually no bigger than like a family unit or something like that, because everyone knows one another, and, you know, people can be trusted because you know them. You've been with them for specific periods of time. You learn to know what they're on about. When ideals of communism are expanded beyond a thing like a family unit, all these things start to break apart, because things that involve, you know, not having specific things and others having those things get connected to that shit. And basically greed, lust for power, and human nature, just basic human nature, takes over, and these systems cannot operate as well as they should in theory. And they're rife for abuse on a bigger scale. In you know, in let's say let me bring up like Soviet Russia here, like a good example. Like the ruling party is supposed to be, you know, people ruling for the people, and that's the basic composition of it. But these parties are usually composed of elitists that look down on the common man. Like it's not something run for somebody. It's people. It's a rat race that leads to a similar result that hardcore capitalism systems would lead to. Basically, everyone wants to be at the top, and anyone below it, or rather even in the middle, it gets fucked. With communism, it's more people getting fucked downstairs than upstairs, because the ruling party upstairs, they're gonna have everything, and they're gonna be pretending that they're there for the people, because communist propaganda has worked wonders for everything. If one thing the communists know how to do is propaganda, promising you the world and delivering shit when they actually get into power. And I can understand why the younger generation of people nowadays, without knowing the hardships of living under communism, without having no relatives that lived under these systems, I get it why they don't understand this. Like, even if they have some basic education on the atrocities that were committed under communist rule, they still think that they themselves will do it better. Because real communism hasn't been attempted yet. Those people that attempted it, they have failed. They started to be imperialists themselves. They started to be tyrants. And, you know, and that's why it's all failed. But we are the righteous people. We are there for the people. And we will succeed this time again. And they never succeed. And it always leads to an amazing amount of loss in human life. Always. It always... Communism, it works best when it comes to killing people. No other system to rule people in the history of humanity has killed as many people as communism has. But yeah, I'm going on a real tangent here and explaining to you guys why communism doesn't work. But, you know, it needs to be explained, because when we actually get to talk about Mana, she swallows all of this shit wholesale and doesn't even think about the repercussions of what she's supporting. Mana is not only the type of communist that supports, you know, a cause. Oh, I'm going to be there for the people. Like working class go. Like I will support the working class and make sure the lowest of the low in society can get a chance on a better life. No. She's not like that at all. She drapes herself in symbolism of oppression, which are no better than if she was a neo-Nazi. Like, I'll show you guys shit that, to me, personally, is equivalent to herself portraying herself like a neo-Nazi. So, you know, this fucking tangent aside, let's actually get right into that, because, you know, I can sit here and complain about communism all day and we'll never get into anything. So let's start. Let's actually start this shit and see what this thing was about. So, Mana. A little bit of history about Mana, at least my personal history with her and how I discovered her. I knew Mana before she started going haywire and she started talking about all of this political shit on Twitter. I knew her from her metal covers, and as I'm not a big fan of metal, I was just, hey, this sounds nice. I hope she does well, because she seemed to be pretty talented at that stuff, and she has been getting a lot of views in like 2020, 2021, and she seemed to be on her way to be even more popular. But then, sometime in 2021, she started shitting herself when it comes to political stuff on Twitter, and it all started to sound incredibly stupid. I'm of the idea that VTubers should not be political activists, because why would you take anything a fucking cartoon avatar has to say about things like Palestine or Israel or or Trump or Biden or whatever the fuck kind of political discussion you want to have on social media. I think VTubing shouldn't be a place for activists to do anything. I think VTubing, as it was created for the sole purpose of entertainment, so people could find a little bit of escapism from their day-to-day drudgery of going to a 9-to-5 job, and then, you know, just go back and relax with something that's cute, something that's funny, and something that will hopefully get you through the next day. But these people, they want to make VTubing divisive, and I don't agree with that. I wouldn't, like, do whatever the fuck you want, but I personally wouldn't bring politics into VTubing, because it always creates a shit show, not only for the people that engage in actual political discussion, but also for those that attach themselves to a particular VTuber for entertainment purposes alone. And as some of you already actually mentioned in the chat, a lot of you quit actually following Mana and her musical career just because she started shitting herself in regards to political stuff on Twitter. And you're not alone in this story, because many people that discovered her also through Reddit and other places, even on 4chan's VT and JP, they all noticed that shit and were just like, yep, nope, this goes into the fucking trash. This is genuine trash. I don't want to deal with this shit. But yeah, I discovered Mana the first time when she started shitting herself about Palestine. And no matter how you feel about the Palestine versus Israel situation, this shit is incredibly stupid. So let's read what she had to say about that. PSA. An active genocide is being committed against the Palestinians, and remaining neutral in the face of injustice is complicity. That is all. I will block every little shit that brings up a both sides argument. Fuck you. Hashtag Free Palestine. So here you can see the first thing, you know, communists, and especially Mana here, they like to be extreme, either one side, no centrist, no middle of the road positions allowed, and she's gonna do that all the fucking time throughout this stream, and you will see that. Some people would say based, because, you know, Free Palestine. Everyone wants, you know, for Palestine to have their own land, for Palestinians to finally be free of their Israeli oppressors and all of that. But ultimately, it's always the civilians that's going to suffer between the conflict of two nations. Let me just break character for a bit, because this is more important than maintaining a VTubing aesthetics or whatever the fuck. Take it or leave it. Hashtag Free Palestine. Intifada till return. Intifada till liberation. And if I had to choose between VTubing and supporting Palestine, I'd quit VTubing in a heartbeat. LMAO. Mind you, she never quit VTubing, so I guess Palestine isn't that important to her ultimately when the communist paths are way open and way more fun for her to explore, because after the war started, after the war in Ukraine started, she got a lot of Russian followers, and you'll see why. You'll see why she got a lot of those. But let's go back. Fortunately, I don't have to answer to any corporate entity or anyone, so I'll use my platform however I want. Palestine is in a time of crisis, and it's escalating quickly. What's a day or two of me expressing my support? I don't care about maintaining aesthetics. Some fuckers do be testing me, but I just don't engage with them. One was posting Nazi shit. Report, block, ignore. I'm using my platform and the sphere of influence I have to raise awareness of the humanitarian crisis. If you don't like what I'm doing that well, too bad, but I don't hear you ramble on how it ruins your perfectly created social media feed. Unfollow, it's easy. I've been reminding people time and time again to go out if they can go, or at least log off and not get too attached with the personas they've created for themselves online and obsessing over parasocial relationships. Mana will be shitting a lot about parasocial relationships, but ultimately I think she has one of those with communism and all of the causes she tries to hang herself off. I refuse to acknowledge manipulative statements like, "Boohoo, look what you made me do. I'm gonna leave now because you ruined my source of entertainment. Big sad, ooh. If you don't like that I care about oppressed human beings, why even engage and waste both of our time? I don't care. Don't like it, don't engage, pretty simple. Especially if it's about preferences. Like, bro, I don't give a fuck about what you in your free time. Leave me alone with mine." She's so not bothered she goes into a full rant, and that's a very common thing for her too. You're responsible for the media that you consume. Why hyper-focus on something that makes you upset and impose certain behaviors you prefer on someone else for the sake of your entertainment? Get a grip! No, VTubers aren't supposed to post about anything remotely political. Well, you know, you can be political or you can be like a dumbass screaming into the void like she does. You can have political takes that are very middle of the road, very reasonable, but Mana doesn't have many of those whatsoever. She is an extremist goblin. And Goblina is a very apt way to describe her, knowing what she looks like physically. And we're gonna jump a bit, because that was 2021, and now we're gonna jump into the moment where she actually got banned from Twitter. Over a very stupid thing, mind you. I wouldn't suspend her over shit like that, because she just kind of got, you know, caught in using specific words in a context that Twitter didn't like. Here's her post from a few days ago on her YouTube community tab. I've seen right-wing bullshit untouched, but this shit is apparently violent speech, okay? Also, if you're gonna be condescending little shit in the comments, of course I won't let you have access to me. I don't even care if you're a member, just leave. I didn't get why would you follow people you hate. Do you not have jobs? Well, man, your primary shit is music. When people go to your channel, they don't see your stupid shit first and foremost. They see your music. So why do you think they're fucking disappointed in you when they finally learn what the fuck you are? And here is what she actually got bonked for. Mind you, she's permanently suspended. She's not getting that account back. The earthquake forever traumatized me. I get anxiety riding in subways now. I get stranded for a day at a station and couldn't contact my family. Nobody should ever fucking joke about this, but I look at the replies and flat earthers do be running their mouths. I will bury them. Notice how she's always very tough. She's always very condescending. She's always incredibly arrogant the way she speaks, but she's a real fucking softie on deep inside. She will go out of her way to block people. She will go out of her way to silence conversation. Anything that goes against the grain, anything that goes against her own narrative, she will try to silence for herself. Because someone this arrogant still can't handle confrontation from anybody. She'd rather block and then say what a badass she is. And what a girl fucking boss she is. She like exemplifies all the negative qualities of what a girl boss would be. I will bury them. And she got bonked for stupid shit like that. She has done a lot of nasty shit on Twitter that would actually be a bannable offenses, and you're gonna see a few of those. But for this, she is kind of, I don't know, ironic that she got bonked for fucking whining about having trauma. Oh yeah. And then she continues to whine in her YouTube community shit. Some of y'all would really send me incel vibe walls of text as if I would ever read them past the first sentence, and the audacity to tell me what I should be doing to handle the situation. As if I know anything about, as if you know anything about networking, LMAO. See? Arrogant constantly. Okay, let me make this clear. If you didn't know, 30k people followed me on Twitter, so I kind of have to make an announcement because, you know, it's a thing you do. so your contacts would know what the fuck happened to you. But I guess you don't get that because nobody gives a fuck about you. Stop projecting shit, bro. Just unfollow without sending me walls of text. Guaranteed won't read 90% of it. Also, I was making updates as shit was going down in real time. First I had an idea why the fuck they banned me for me, but I got email, and yes, they banned me for that one tweet. I will bury them. Towards flat earthers who were saying earthquakes aren't real when my country experienced magnitude 9. Like, what the fuck? Here is where we come to what Mana actually is. She has Filipino and Japanese blood in her, so I guess she's half and half, something like that. So yeah, Mana is a literal tiny girl, 4'11", half Filipino, half Japanese. I've also seen many more heinous tweets with people actually getting murdered, and apparently those were okay. But anyway, this is not an airport. You absolutely do not need to announce your departure. I don't give a fuck if you unfollow me or not. I will still get following from the kind of people I actually like. Meaning her echo chamber. And then she posted a guillotine showing how she's gonna decapitate people that she doesn't like. And here's someone commenting on her getting banned on Twitter, just basically laughing at her, and show how quickly she is to respond to shit, showing that she does actually care and constantly checks her social media to make sure no one's talking shit about her. Lolcow got banned from Twitter, and see how fast she responds. 4 minutes. She responds in 4 minutes. You're jealous, you ain't earning anything from being a hater. Just came all the way here to tell me this. You must have so much time with your hands. At least I earn money from doing this. This is not very communist of you, Mana. I thought hardcore commies like you didn't care about personal gain. And the guy replies, at least I'm not a coping sea monkey. Which is, apt, because she does act like a monkey. Not a racist comment, by the way. She's just very fucking angry all the time and hopping mad like a monkey. Here we have a bit from her Discord server, which is also pretty fucking fantastic. 2. Server-specific content rules. These may be dissimilar to other servers. A list of banned content on this server. Sexualization of childlike figures. Yeah, Loli showed us. And yes, she does always... she also shits herself about Loli and Shoda stuff. Because she thinks it's vile. She thinks it's pedophilic. But she engages in things that are genuinely vile herself. We'll see those too. All forms of Pepe and Pog may be an emote, meme, or term itself. I guess she swallowed the ADL pill here with Pepe and Pog being banned, as quote-unquote hate symbols. I guess that gets on her nerves somehow. She's a weird one, and animal abuse, because that's normal. I can at least agree with that. And here's someone challenging her on her stances against Palestine, because Mana is not only that kind of person that wants, Palestinians to have their land of their own. She wants to chase all the Jews. She wants to chase all the Israelis of the Palestinians' Holy Land. So she basically wants to make sure she creates another situation that is very similar to what the Palestinians have now. She just wants to reverse it. Hell, at least I'm not the one being anti-Semitic. Hell no, you don't get to level these accusations to people like this when you just get called out of simping for the anthropomorphic form of Israel. Anti-Semitism is a heavy accusation. You just don't get to throw this around on my server. Without my concrete evidence, being anti-Israel, anti-Zionist is not anti-Semitic. The state of Israel is an illegal occupation of Palestine. If you do any more of these sweeping generalizations and assumptions, you only get one warning and you get banned. Oh, she does her own sweeping generalizations. We'll get to that when we actually get to her fucking VK posting. Here's how much she mentions Israel. I already said my stance on Israel. The Brits created Israel, but Israel is an illegal occupation. All of Israel is Palestine. Yeah, Israel is basically showing how to genocide. Oh, we'll get to the how to genocide and who Mana supports in a different type of genocide. They were all positive vibes from Russians. LMO, I had to use translator thus because Russian's gonna Russian. Thanks, that's why I'm strict with the rules. Place to everyone can have a good time. I get so many Russians commenting on my community posts and recent videos, LMAO. And this is gonna be something that's gonna prompt her move to VK. And then we come to the VK postings. So, yeah. Take a look at this. Welcome to the Gulag. And here's Mana dressed as a commissar, as a commissioned officer, Russian officer, in front of a Gulag. I don't know how many of you know what a Gulag is, but Gulag is essentially Gulags were Soviet concentration camps. Soviet concentration camps made to be also work camps. This is where the communists send all of the dissidents, political prisoners, undesirables, basically anyone that got on their fucking nerves, in order to work themselves to the death. Those camps also served as extermination camps to some degree to the more bothersome political prisoners. Executions in gulags were a daily thing. People starved. People died of disease. People died from the cold because gulags were strewn all about Russia, and a lot of the worst ones were in Siberia, deep into Siberia. Well, people just fucking died from exposure to the fucking elements. And Mana is so fucking based. She's gonna present herself as one of the officers in charge of a gulag. To me, this is no different than if she put on a Nazi uniform and placed herself in front of fucking Auschwitz. This is no different from me. The commies did similar things and sometimes worse things to their own fucking populace. And to their enemies, to their perceived enemies. Just like Nazis did to the Jews and other minorities like the Roma people and the Polish as well. The Slavs especially, and the Jews. So this is all Mana. This is the person that's supposed to, be a champion for the people. She wants everyone to have a good time, and then she stands this. And how the fuck would you even interpret that? She, of course, wouldn't do this on Twitter, because they would fucking kill her for this on Twitter, especially when this was posted during the time where the war was beginning, and almost was in full swing, the war on Ukraine. She's lucky she's living in fucking Japan, because if the fucking Ukrainians saw this on Twitter, she would get eaten fucking alive. She would have people send her shit, if not just outright trying to find her fucking physically in order to fucking get her. Yeah, that's the sort of person Mana is. And there's more of that. There's more of that too. Hold up. I made an oopsie. There it is. Remember, Stalin killed 500 guerrillian people, bribed clouds to not rain in Ukraine, and surprise motherfuckers, he also fucked your mom. He's the anti-Santa Claus. Here's her basically denying the, victims of Stalin. Similar way to how some Holocaust deniers would do. She's no different from a Nazi. She's the communist equivalent of a Nazi. What you call a fucking tanky. She's an extreme fucking tanky. Cowardly one at that as well, because she only has the balls to post this shit on BK, where she's gonna get seal claps from retards. This one is just something else. In Mariupol, the fight still goes on. Ace of Nazis control a few blocks on industrial area. Yesterday, Ukraine sent 2 helicopters to them. One was downed, another one flew away. This morning again, 2 helicopters attempted to reach the trapped Azov. Both were downed. Both crews died. There are a few helicopters remaining in Ukraine's army. They didn't have supplies, but allegedly desperately tried to evacuate somebody. Interesting. Who is it? A helicopter may evacuate a few persons. I suppose there are some important West instructors trapped among them. And Mana replies to this. I hope nobody, including those important Western instructors, will get out of Mariupol alive. These Nazis bitches deserve to be obliterated. So she basically swallows all of the Azov stuff wholesale. Wherever Russians point, there's Azov Nazis, because one of the reasons that the Russian war with Ukraine started is because the Russians wanted to denazify Ukraine because they had too many Azov soldiers in their military. Whereas, there is Azov companies within the Ukrainian military, don't get me wrong. In a war, people would use anything they need to use in order to get ahead. But Russians have their own fucking Nazis. They have their own fucking Wagner squads. Squads made out of commissioned officers that are neo-Nazis, that also include prisoners from all around Russia. Usually people that have previously killed people and all kinds of other degenerates. They let them loose onto the battlefield. They are cannon fodder for the most part, but they're also willing to do what most soldiers aren't willing to do, which is just straight out fucking murder civilians and target civilian areas without a second fucking thought. So yeah, Mana swallows this shit wholesale as well. And the fact that she just calls for deaths of people is something else. And she has the fucking bollocks to tell others about, protecting people, free Palestine and shit like that. All of this compared to what she's doing here is just straight up kill yourself. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, she should fucking jump in front of the train. This shit is vile to me. I hate it. I hate it and hate what she stands for. This is that kind of behavior that is unacceptable to me. And as I was telling you guys, she will attach herself to any cause that is red. Any communist cause, Mana is going to be there. North Korea, sign me right the fuck up. I'm gonna be a fucking North Korean icon. Because why the fuck not? Support North Korean communists. Starve those fucking people to death. Jesus Christ, fuck off. And here's a fan art of her with fucking Lenin. The guy responsible for the fucking Red Terror. Establishing the Gulag system, and then Stalin developed it further. Killing millions of people in the process. Taking land from kulaks, well-off landowners. Usually farmers that just wanted to make a living. Killing them outright. There's a letter out there from Lenin himself where he instructs his officers on how to terrorize people, how to terrorize civilians, and Mana would stand with a piece of shit like this. She's fine with this. She's fine stunning mass murderers. Hey Mana, what's up? Our comrades from Donbass, and not only, wrote an article about Russia, Ukraine and the war. KGB, I won't let you in my home. Stop knocking. Past, present, maybe future, about the attitude of those of some kinds of Russian left-wing guys, and they do make mistakes. Another kind of person translating into English and made a video from it. I hope you love robots. Highly recommend to listen to it if you are interested. War and the political regime in Russia. What do you think this video is about? Why do you think she mentions robots and smiles? Could those robots be drones used to bomb Ukrainian soldiers and civilian targets? I don't know, but Mana knows, and she's very gleeful about it. Capitalists measure the effectiveness of weapons in terms of civilian deaths. By such standards, American weapons are the most effective in the world. The Russian missile attacks that killed at least 19 people across Ukraine on Monday were wide-ranging, but they were not deadly as they could have been. That's a renewed question of the quality of Russians' weapons. But yeah, you know, here they're talking about Russians murdering civilians with precision, quote-unquote, strikes on civilian targets. And here she is complaining about capitalism and how they murdered a lot more people than, you know, aggressors during a fucking war. They still might refuse to adapt the Russian hate rhetoric, lol. Here's a bunch of fucking Russians clapping for her. And yeah, I agree with one thing when it comes to the war. You shouldn't demonize the civilian populace, whether it's, you know, Ukrainians or Russians. A lot of Russians, unfortunately, do support the war. I have 2 Russian friends that at least got out of Russia when this whole fucking shit started. They're probably not going back, ever. But they had families that were left over there. And some of their families are hardcore supporters of this war. What the Russians called special operation on Ukraine. Another picture from Toka equals paint. The description says, Toka drew the picture of your amazing paint style, but instead of a girl, comrade Futakuchi Mana, and instead of man is Commissar Underground, the NKVD hat. Yeah, Mana, you stand those commissars. Again, she will attach herself to anything that's slightly red. She's like a bull. She's just fucking attracted to the color red. Does she actually know what any of these things that she's supporting like mean? What kind of propaganda did this stupid girl swallow in order to believe all of this shit? That she can so uncritically just stand behind this? Because, you know, there's one thing about, like, you know, shit posting with edgy stuff, like, I'm gonna post fucking, I'm gonna post something in front of a concentration camp, or I'm gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna draw Hitler, or I'm gonna post Hitler here and there to make fun of people. It's completely something else to believe this shit and then insert yourself into it. This none of these are jokes to me. This one is also something. This is cool as fuck. Don't tread on me. Oh shit again. And if you guys know, the rattlesnake is a libertarian symbol. It's the quality don't tread on me flag, which basically, you know, it's a symbol of libertarianism. Essentially means if you try to intrude on my rights, if you go after me physically or in any kind of way, I will defend myself. I will be like this rattlesnake and I will bite you. And this was against tyrants. This was a symbol against tyranny. So she herself thinking this is cool as fuck and stamping on the snake makes her no better than a fucking Nazi or any kind of fascist that she's against. It's completely vile what this stupid woman is doing and was doing. And there's more to it. Like, I'm not done yet. I'm not done with this shit yet. Here's herself receiving medals from Lenin, from Marx, and from Stalin, and being completely flabbergasted, being in complete shock, and just being extremely happy about it. Getting a medal from one mass murderer, another mass murderer clapping for her, and another guy, Marx, clapping for her. You know, guy that made the Communist Manifesto. The guy that even nowadays is brainwashing people with his fucking bullshit. If people only know how fucking Marx lived, what a piece of shit Marx was as a person beyond his work, how much he leached of Engels, and what kind of degenerate he was. I wonder if people would stand behind them. Like, you know, my account name is VTuber Cringe. This is actually the real cringe right here. That you're gonna put yourself as a caricature in this situation and think this is cool and you know you're proud of this. You're proud of this. Fuck me, man. And yeah, she doesn't know Russian. She just knows she gets attention from Russians, and that's enough for her. Any attention from the Ruskies is good attention. Happy birthday to this Giga Chad mushroom. Eat this, eat that. How about you, eat Lenin? The Giga Chad responsible once again for the death of millions of people and subsequent deaths of another millions of people under Stalin and the rest of the system until its downfall. Stun Lenin because he smokes fucking weed. Isn't smoking weed cool, guys? Like, it's cool when the communists do it. I mean, smoke weed, do whatever the fuck you want. This devalues weed. I don't partake, but I have friends who partake. They're really chill, but they aren't commies. And I think this really devalues weed. Putting it next to a communist. Great Warrior Ze and his squad of bodyguards. Text for mana. Guys, I'm in the city. I'm not hiding somewhere. Imagine being so far up in your own ass, you actually think being told to get basic hygiene is oppressive. Like the HJW libs on Twitter will literally find new ways to be oppressed. Mind you, she's misconstruing here a guy's... Basically, a guy had an issue with her because she was going off on a misandrist tangent, and she of course decided to misconstrue his argument and say the guy has an unwashed ball sack or some shit like that. So yeah, she's also a misandrist on top of everything else. Men are so oppressed, we have feelings too. Found emoji. Yeah, that went to you already with the Mariupol thing. But here's the comment. That's an addition to that. Having about 2 wounded now in hospital. After work of evil Russian doctors, they will be interrogated. I hope they will have a great time. Mana, he too. posting. This is a probe droid. This is like a torture droid from Star Wars. So yeah, she condones torture too. But why not? If you're gonna be a full tanky, why not just also condone torture? Why the fuck not? Shared this vid, which was deleted. What Ukraine is hiding from you? Guess what the video was about? It was about Azov shit. Guess what the Russians are hiding from you? The Wagners and all of the bodies of dead civilians in villages strewn about Ukraine. That's what they're hiding from you. The Soviets, the communists, and even Russians today, during the war, they're so used to obliterating whole villages and then just trying to mask it with shit. There was a lot of cases during the war already where the Russians tried to blame civilian casualties on the actions of the Ukrainians too. But you know, I'm not going to be a complete Ukraine stan because war is not a black and white thing. There's going to be pieces of shit on both sides, and those pieces of shit will do anything so one of the sides gets an advantage. Both sides would be capable of doing despicable shit, either to prisoners of war or civilians. It just so happens that the Russians here are the aggressors, so of course people are going to be seeing them in the worst light. But I can also imagine there are a lot of soldiers on the front that are just stupid fucking kids that got drafted because, you know, what other choice do they have? They didn't manage to escape it, and they're basically dying for nothing. I do believe they are, in a sense, right now, fighting this war for nothing, on both sides, dying. You know, one side to defend their home country, and the other participating in a war they didn't choose to lead. It's just this stupid fucking government under Putin that decided to do it. So yeah, war is never a black and white thing. War is always fucking terrible, no matter the side. Every day, Western liberals find amusing ways to show just how much of brainworms they have, and they're going to ban this emoji too. The Z or the sleeping emojis. Several EU states outlawed the displaying of the Latin letter Z because when the Russians marked their vehicles Z, they used to mark their vehicles also by the Latin letters V and O. But now they begin to using the marks KMF and G, and we're way to abolishing the Latin alphabet. See, with the Z thing, especially during March 30th of 2022, the Z wasn't at this point only a distinction to mark Russian vehicles and Russian soldiers to distinguish them from Ukrainian forces. The Z, already in the middle of March, and especially at the end of March, was already established as a symbol of basically condoning the war, being in support of the war. And you would find a lot of Russian propaganda material where the Z is quite prominent. It became a symbol of supporting the quote-unquote special operation. So the Z is a clear indication of support for the war on the Russian side. NATO bases. How does Russia feel? I mean, as you see, NATO surrounding Russia from all sides because, you know, and I'm going to be very clear about this, when you have a country with a history like Russia does, and you have a powerhouse, in order to maintain some kind of balance of power, in order to even have the chance of the scenario of, you know, of a mutual destruction, you have to be close to your enemy. You have to keep the rabid dog at an arm's reach. Otherwise, you know, bad things may happen. And yeah, of course, you know, Russians would be threatened by something like that. Of course, the government would be threatened by something like that. But that's the nature of global politics. You have to keep the big fucking dogs in check. There's like no way to go about it. Like, no, it's a cruel reality that we live in, but it's just the reality of it. Like, you can't do anything about this. You always have to be ready to go to war, and being this close is probably the best possible option for needed purposes. Worthy successor of worthy people. Defenders of the Russian people of the early 20th century. Hands of workers, Russia. Defenders of the Russian people of the early 20th. That's not how you spell 21st century, mama. But you know, that's on point for commies, not having basic education. But yeah, another one of those cringe artworks. Here's Mana, the defender of Russia. I would be very embarrassed by this. I don't know how old Mana is, but I imagine she's like in her 20s something. She feels like a zoomer to me. She's probably in her like close to her mid-20s, something like that, maybe past that, I don't know. I don't know how old she is, but you know, you can be dumb at any age. But me, she feels very young. Or at least misguided and uneducated. The most terminally online Nazi apology I've seen by far. Holy fucking shit. Azov is a complicated topic. If the US gets invaded tomorrow, could see Proud Boys and the KKK defending their country. Maybe even side by side with the libs and the wokes. Is that wrong? Does it mean that the US is far right? Not really. It is a fight for survival after all. See, rather than Nazi apologia, like Nazi apologetics, this is pretty much like a true statement. If all of the US went to war with a large enemy, let's say like China, like let's say China decided to like by some miracle invade US soil, everyone would have to band together to fight them. Would you be picking like who's on your side at that point? Would you? Like, as I was saying, like war, in a war you don't get to pick. To defend yourself and to get, you know, the upper hand on your enemy, you will use all kinds of means in the war. You will ally yourself with pieces of shit. You might ally yourself with racists if you have the fucking same goal. As you know, as cruel as that sounds, that's the realities of war. Sometimes it's a necessity. Should it be like that? You know, on a moral standpoint? You can kill yourself or you can just fight to defend your country. It's all up to you. If you do manage to defend yourself and, you know, manage to establish some kind of peace after that, you can go back to feuding with the Proud Boys and the KKK or whatever. But, you know, desperate times called for desperate needs, and that's just the reality of this fucking situation. As unfortunate as it is. Let's move on. I'm getting significantly annoyed. And here's Mana, by the way. She posts herself all the time. So just, you know, what the fuck? What is this girl boss tough guy act on the internet? Reminding my haters, if they mass reported me, this is in relation to their Twitter suspension. But getting me off Twitter isn't the W you think it is. It means a W for me for sure. So let me take this opportunity to thank you for taking away distraction. It will help me focus on writing more songs for the rest of the year. Now back to the imps. Your 4011 151 centimeter gremlin overall has a lot of stuff in store but you have to be sure. You turn on the notifications to catch my song premieres. She's basically puntable at this size. Mind you, she's also a power lifter, but how much do you think 4'11" girl, even if she power lifts, how much do you think a girl like this weighs? Like, even with all the muscle that she apparently claims to have. She looks pretty slim to me. Like, how much would she potentially weigh? Like, a bit more than 50 kilos, something like that. Puntable, and this is the tough guy that puts on, you know, all of these girl boss airs. I believe in equality. I would slap the shit out of her. I don't care if it comes off as misogynist. I don't hate her because she's a woman. I hate her because she's a commie. And commies get no pulled punches. So, you know, whatever. I do hope she tries to start shit with somebody, but I don't think she will. I think she's too cowardly to do a thing like that. Oh yeah, she also does kickboxing, as if that's gonna help her with anything at that size. Legit, neocons are obsessed with this comparison to Nazis to justify their atrocities while simultaneously drumming it up more by saying at least the Nazis. Like, holy shit, it's extremely disrespectful and anti-material analysis. The Nazis were the Nazis, not current geopolitical enemy of the United States. We are now at the point where the Atlantic Council is claiming Nazis never used chemical weapons at Auschwitz. Holy fucking shit, what is happening? Hitler recognized Poland but called for concessions. Putin absolutely claims that Ukraine is not a state. Hitler had left the League of Nations. Putin violates every international law there. Hitler did not use chemical weapons. Putin is preparing to do so. You know, Cyclone B, do you know that gas that was used to kill millions of people? That's not a chemical weapon. God, these people are so fucking stupid. And of course Mana is gonna make it about other issues though. Also a mosquito flew into my face, so let me chase it away. Let's move on. And this one gets me. Here's her in a Russian uniform with the fucking Z on the helmet. And how is this person not supporting the war? Like, how is she in all of this supporting the, you know, the working class that's getting abused by this war, or like, you know, the civilians, the poor civilians that, you know, get killed during the war? But no, she's gonna dress herself up in a Russian uniform and smash a Z on her helmet. And I'm supposed to believe she doesn't support this war. This will get her killed. This gets you killed. She's lucky she lives in Japan, because this would get her Minecrafted. Seriously. Cringe-worthy retard. Fuck me, man. Here we have a reference that she had. She basically did a stream which I didn't archive it, unfortunately. But then again, even if you did watch it, it would be the same thing that she regurgitates here on BK and beliefs we already gone over. But she basically had a stream where she invited a commie friend of hers, and it started a fight because the commie had such extreme opinions that which she didn't try to, you know, contest in any sort of way, and her stream became a shit show. That stream was very mentally draining, with liberals derailing the discussion. It's the libs' fault. But I'm glad more or less my imps are open-minded about anti-imperialist position. I had to unarchive the stream because my Discord was being raided by trolls. Mind you, these are the people that were in her own fucking Discord at that time that were just against the shit that this retard was spewing on her stream. She called this a raid. The stream is only available for my channel members. However, for the time being, right now I just want to deal with being taken out of context. It was 4.5 hours and of us repeatedly saying our position. It's quite tiring. I feel like I overworked myself these past few days, so I'm taking a nap. LOL. Have a good day, everyone. P.S. Yes, I do agree with Marxist feminist is superfluous term, but you know, people tend to misunderstand that it's basically a counter to liberal feminism, at least in the Western understanding of the term. And, you know, if you didn't get what Mana is all about, if you didn't get that she's a violent fucking extremist that condones all kinds of violent fucking acts, torture and shit, here we have one more. This is a thing that should get you banned from fucking Twitter. Protesters set fire to the French embassy in Burkina Faso. Yes, very good, says Mana. Yes, very good that people are getting burned alive. People that are just working there. That's very good. No matter what your political stance you have on what's going on in Burkina fucking Faso, it's good to burn random people in buildings. Piece of shit. Here's more of her, like, that one thing about weed and Lenin was on BK, but she also felt safe to post it on Twitter. Happy birthday to this Chad. Only Giga Chad stuff with Castro, you know. Another fucking Giga Chad. Another people responsible for, you know, decades of oppression. Only Giga Chad stuff. I'm getting a lot of hate comments like this for refusing to cancel Russian people and jump on the Russian hate bandwagon. It's been months and they still can't get over it. LOL, they really think these weak-ass comments would hurt my feelings when I regularly eat fresh liberal babies for breakfast. Kremlin, I demand for my 15 rubles right now. For your information, I never once expressed support for the invasion. 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 Piece of shit. Holy fuck, I'm mad. I'm probably almost twice her age, and I'm mad at this stupid Filipino, half Filipino, half Japanese girl for supporting shit. Holy fuck, she needs correction. And not the good kind of correction either. Oh yeah, let's get into the lack of education that I was talking about. Let's take a look at this shit. That time when NATO tweeted Happy Women's Day with a photo of a Ukrainian woman soldier wearing a Nazi patch and the dirty deleted LMAO. Every time Western news outlets accidentally show a neo-Nazi symbol on the uniform of a Ukrainian soldier, and guess what the supposed neo-Nazi symbol was? No, it wasn't this Iron Cross with the Hakenkreuz inside of it. Nope. It was a normal cross without the Hakenkreuz. This symbol, with the legged cross, has been used for centuries, way before Nazis got their hands of it and put the Hakenkreuz in the middle of it. Way before the Nazis used that. Damn, would they even use that? And here's her getting taken to task for this shit. Because she's stupid. And like any commie, she lacks education. It's the symbol for the Ukrainian armed forces. Despite its use by the Nazis, many still use it in official symbols, unfortunately, although somewhat altered. Even German's military today. Second picture. That doesn't make anyone feel better, LMAO. What does it even fucking mean? Like, someone contested your lack of knowledge and now you're making appeal towards feelings because it looks similar to a symbol that Nazi used. Like, weak ass shit. Zelensky casually wearing a shirt with an iron cross, a print, Nazi symbol. Look what the symbol is, by the way. Just so you know. This ain't no fucking Nazi symbol. It's the legged fucking cross. This one in particular is the St. George's cross iteration of it. So yeah, you know, commies, basic fucking historical education. Why would they have that? Let's move on. And here's Reddit basically shitting on her. Mind you, whenever you go to Reddit, if you type in Futakuchibana, you'll get plenty of anti-communist, anti-stupid Reddits basically shitting on her. She's more known for her terrible fucking takes on shit online on Reddit, you know, of all places, than her music. So that's the treatment she gets. So at least, you know, people acknowledge that she's a stupid lolcow. In case anyone doesn't already know, this cross symbol seen on many Ukrainian emblems is the Cossack cross, which resembles the Iron Cross but has completely different origins. It's primarily used as a symbol of the in Ukraine due to its connection with the Zaporozhian Cossacks and their history of rebellion against various medieval powers. Although it can be found in some degree all over Eastern Europe, including Russia. As I mentioned, the Zaporozhian, the Cossack cross is pretty much, I think, in its design, I may be wrong about this, it's very similar to St. George's cross. Let me actually confirm that, because I'm particular about these sorts of things. Cossack cross. Cossack cross, very similar to what Zelensky is wearing there. And then there's the legged cross. And the St. George cross. Yeah, I think it's more of the St. George cross or the Cossack cross. It's in terms of, you know, coloring, it's hard to tell. It could be either or. But considering, you know, all of this is taking place in Ukraine, this is more than likely the Cossack cross instead. But either way, ain't no fucking Nazi symbol is the whole point of this. Well, let's continue. We're almost at the end of the mana part, and then we can look at a few other commies before we end this shit. Note that while the cross symbol is popular in part due to its simplicity, there are some noticeable differences between the Cossack cross and the Iron Cross. The IC, as well as well-curved, concave arms, while the CC's arms are usually straight or gently curved. The AC usually has a wide border, the CC doesn't. Was a good thing that she outed her beliefs early on. Also, I didn't screenshot this on time, but what this person is linking here is a post to her Discord where she basically says that she doesn't believe that Stalin killed millions of people and that it's CIA propaganda. So, again, another point towards Mana being a dumbass. It's fucking genocide denial. CIA propaganda. It's funny how commies emulate the same kind of or similar talking points to neo-Nazis. It's very fucking particular, I have to say. Can you elaborate a bit more? Were you talking about specific event, historical period, regime of the Soviet rule? Yes, and Poland is full of fascists now. What's even funnier is that the person is Polish. He said the Russians committed atrocities in Poland. Like, motherfucker, you're Slavic. You think Nazi Germany would be more merciful to your people? Neither would be. The Polish hate the neo-Nazis and the communists equally. You will find marches. You'll find anti-fascist marches in Poland, quite frequently organized on events where a lot of atrocities were committed by either Nazis or communists. And I can tell you one thing: the Polish hate both equally. And Mana is a fascist. Mana is that kind of communist that would get flayed. They would get flayed alive for the shit that she says. Saying that Poland is full of fascists is a gross misunderstanding of Polish culture and what goes on in Poland. It's absolutely vile to do that, especially when the country got butt fucked by both Soviet fucking Russia and the Nazis at the beginning of the war. Like, a lot of people constantly forget or just aren't educated on the fact that the Ribbentrop-Molotov pact existed that basically divided Poland between the Soviet Russia and the Third Reich, and that there were two aggressors when the World War II began. So people constantly omit that fucking fact, and then just give Russia, give the fucking Soviets butt claps when they did go on the offensive, when the Third Reich, when the Nazis decided to go against them, which was a huge fucking mistake, by the way. Yeah, and here's Mana complaining about parasocial relationships, part of which I agree with, but considering the rest of the shit that she believes in, this kind of, makes me think that not all of this is completely her own belief too. I don't understand the obsession over bringing up people's private lives. Like, this is another level of parasocial interaction. Do these people not understand that it won't make them closer to the streamer and would actually have the opposite effect because it's creepy as fuck? Well, I can agree that to some extent. But then there's cases like Fruits that we discussed yesterday, so it's all a matter of the subject that we're talking about and the person particularly. They are just from insecure men who couldn't get real girlfriends in real life, so they get into parasocial relationships with anime girls. She says this is a fucking VTuber. Even before I took my break, I've always encouraged my viewers to socialize with others, especially since most of them are in high school age. By the way, she spews all of this shit to her Discord that she acknowledges that is full of high school age children. So she's basically grooming kids into being communists. So fucking fantastic at that. So you don't end up like 30-year-old neckbeards desperately clinging to their parasocial relationships with streamers. I've been reminding people time and time again to go out if they can, or at the very least log off. Mind you, she very rarely logs off. She's constantly on her fucking Discord crying about one thing or another. The only time she leaves is probably to go to the gym or to go to work, because her music career doesn't really sustain her to the point where she would be able to just do VTubing full time. And ultimately this is still pretty fucking ironic because she lives in the most capitalist country in the world, which is fucking Japan. At least one of the most capitalist countries in the world. As a fucking tanky that constantly complains about fucking imperialist shit. Fucking funniest shit. And not get too attached with the personas they've created for themselves online or obsessing over parasocial relationships. Again, partially agree what she says. I'm very protective of my energy, so I'm not responding to you in my tweets. It's highly likely that you are muted. LAMO, not sorry, I'm allowed to have boundaries, even online. basically a coward. She likes to dish it out, but she doesn't like to take it. For the arrogance she displayed towards people, she really doesn't like confrontation. She would probably fold like a fucking house of cards if anyone would ever confront her offline. 4 foot fucking 11 inches of bitch right there. I see anyone here defending the US military, you deserve to get clowned on for being a bootlicker extraordinaire. Should I go back to those Russian bootlicking comments that she made and all of these fucking images? Should I? How is she better than any fucking US military bootlicker, as she calls them? She's just on a different fucking side. Mind you, a side that a lot of people consider to be on the wrong side of history this time around. And the Russians haven't been on the right side of morality and history for many, many decades, if not centuries. But then again, you know, I don't think any country is free of sin. I think history of all countries is bathed in blood. But when I think of Russians, they have a history quite richer bloodshed than most. Here's another dumbass. To all VTubers, girlies who purposefully cater to 4chan incels to grow edgy misogyny content. They will hate the real you if they ever saw a glimpse of it. 4chan hates all women, and as much as you think you're different, they eventually turn on you too. This is the worst misconstruction of people on 4chan. Well, not even taking into account that all kinds of people go onto that fucking image board on VT and GP and all fucking places. I think a lot of 4chaners, they have the same fucking taste VTubers as most people. There are only a few VTubers that strictly cater to a 4chan audience. I would rather say that 4chan audiences attaches itself to specific VTubers that don't necessarily go out of their way to cater to them. I mean, Pippa is very popular in 4chan, but it's not like she purposely appeals to them. She just likes what she likes, for example, and she's been always like that. Even before 4chan followed her, as when Pippa was on a completely different identity. Her content was a bit different, but she still talked and believed in the same shit she talks about as Pippa. So there's really no catering to 4chan that's going on. And people like this that talk about 4chan like this, they have never been to fucking 4chan. They don't know how people there operate, like, at fucking all. Being hated by a cesspool of the lowest common denominators of humanity is a good thing, actually. No room for incels and 20-something edgy dudes with chunibyo. Also, you have to resort to pandering to those kind of people to grow. You might want to reevaluate your entertainment skills. At the end of the day, it's what you really want for your own community. I guess you're only for the money and fame, and that makes sense. You know what's ironic about this sort of comment that she's making there? Before she got suspended, she followed both Pippa and Leah on Twitter. You know, take that as you will, as a sign of something, but she did follow the people that she complains about that are catering to 4chan. So, I don't know what the fuck you were doing there, Mana. I guess you liked them for something. But considering you're like a person of very hard principles, I don't know what the fuck you're doing making comments like this. When you know what kind of audiences Leah and Pippa had, so I don't fucking get it. It's just more hypocrisy from her. Not saying I'm better than anyone who does this, just saying that harboring those types of people in your audience will one day bite you in the ass hardcore. I wonder how harboring fucking Russian Z's is gonna find, how it's gonna pan out for you though. I do wonder about that. Because don't get me wrong, she has a complete fucking echo chamber on that Discord of hers. Oh, I didn't actually mention this. There's like a test. There's like a test to enter her Discord. You have to like answer a few questions like how many genders there are trans women women. I don't know what other questions there were, but you basically have to prostrate yourself to answer questions in the way she feels are permissible to let you into the Discord. So yeah, I forgot to include this in the presentation, but she does indeed. She did indeed have something like that. I don't know if she still does, but she does have a purity test to enter her Discord. I don't know how she is in the locale. Like, I don't know how she doesn't have a Kiwi Farms thread, because she literally fucking deserves one. Once you so much as deviate from the head canon they have in your have of you in their heads, you're done. You're a done deal. Communists want the workers to have full ownership of their labor. You all just want to fap to lolly. Calling me a communist shithead is like it's an insult. Twitter brain rot extraordinaire. Like, she's the one to fucking talk about brain rot. Educate yourself, communist shithead. Yep. I do think Mana should get some kind of education, because she's clearly not very historically adept, at least. She doesn't know much. Most people who say they have dark humor are actually just racist, LMFAO. Suck my dick. Yeah, man, I have really dark humor, racism. And her humor is what? Standing in front of fucking gulags, pretending to be an officer in them. Denial of genocide, like serious one, because it's not just her humor. She actually clearly fucking believes that shit. So yeah, like, hello, fucking pod. But yeah, we're done with Mana. Congratulations, you managed to get through with me through all of Mana's shit that I collected. There was a lot more shit, but I wasn't paying that much attention to her over the months and years that she was online, because most of her shit was just, you know, your regular woke support this, support that bullshit. All the juicy stuff she left on her fucking VK show her true colors, what she actually truly fucking is. Yeah, that's Mana, but we're not done just yet. We have a bonus. We have more communists. I'd say communists that are a bit more funny. Like one in particular, I had a run-in with, so let's go to those. So see, there's this guy called Claude the Red. He kind of looks like me. He kind of looks like Kuri, which pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie. And he basically made this finding list. You can use this list as a block list, please. Like, by all means, use it as a block list. I will make an obligatory drop of people I know as commies, because I have a server of commie VTubers LMAO. We're gonna read some posts from that server too, by the way, and I'll tell you about the commie server in a moment as well. They are a mix of different kind of socialists, some of which are content/aesthetic. That's leftists, some who are just leftists. And here's a whole list. Use this as you see fit. Also me, but I mostly just tweet LMAO. But by the way, this is a VTuber that just admits that they just tweet. Just don't do much else. And here's I'm sorry chat, I'm gonna have to block you because I take screenshots like a retard because I'm on fucking 2K ultra wide screen. So you're gonna be covered for a moment. This is the Discord. This is the commie Discord. How's it going? Hey, welcome. Doing good. How are you? How about you? Good. I'm glad I found a leftist VTuber server. Ha ha ha. Especially with some rightoids among us. I'm glad you found us. Not to start a Discord immediately, but I was complaining recently to my friend that a lot of big VTubers are rightoids. RIP. Honestly, not even sure what political affiliations the large ones have. It makes sense given that I vested interest in keeping the that private due to marketability. Their fans, on the other hand, rightoids and idiots. Mind you, this is coming from commies. Like, most of these are fucking tankies too on the server, just having ridiculous fucking names like Texas Red, or Claude the Red, or having avatars with fucking Ushankas on, those very comfortable Russian hats. Writers and idiots, most of them. As a complete tangent, I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV again. I'm getting sucked back into the MMO rabbit hole. As far as Japanese ones go, that's a complete mystery, as their companies definitely keep lock on the kind of thing. Remember that some kind of Hololive girls were temp banned for doing any streams due to even saying the word Taiwan. But for the English VTubers, there's definitely some that are openly rightoid. Of course, the fucking lefties, the communists on their server don't know that Coco didn't say any Taiwans. She just showed Taiwan, but what do commies know about anything? What I know is that Hololive fans, most of them are rightoids. Lots of them come to the indie part of VTubing. I don't like all the LGBT representation or people even mentioning something about politics. Also, I'm sorry, I hope you recover from that. There's probably a relation between being a really big and leaving politics aside for content creation, because it attracts more people. Are some bishoujo giving right-wing vibe? Bishoujo associates with some sketchy characters who are basically rightoid, although I don't know if that's enough to say they're alt-right. At the very least, they're not very politically aware. Mind you, this is in 2021. Before all of this shit happened recently. Who do they call up with is a good indicator. When they call up with Destiny, that we know they are in deep end. No salvation for them. Mind you, Destiny, the fucking bread tuber. I get suspicious for anyone who call-ups with Comdust, LMAO. Poor fucking Comdust mention. I don't think I know them. This is just porn. They're 4chan content VTuber who dabbles in unsavory politics. There's a web of connection between her and Nuxtaku, and Nux, despite the recent feud, LOL, has been pals with most of the bishoujo girls for a while. Not to mention Nux's very messed up history of doing saying bad things that everyone forgot about for some reason, like him trying to pay streamers to say the N-word. I'm just very skeptical of most people and VTubers for this reason, because they all tend to be connected to each other, and there's definitely people that have done some really questionable stuff. Okay, let's look at this more. That's understandable. I don't know if there's an actual really big VTuber that has an actual left-wing beliefs. At least that's not allowed right-wingers. Usually LGBT VTubers in general have a lot of more comfy and safe communities. Oh, isn't that completely fucking wrong? One day I should go and do a stream with you guys from a thing in the past. I called it like the LGBT courtroom drama. To give you a TLDR of that situation, there were two retards fighting on the LGBT Discord with VTubers, and they couldn't get along with each other so much. These two dudes, only these two dudes, mind you, they started such a shit show on that one server that they had to be taken aside, and there had to be like a courtroom hearing sort of style of interrogation between two of them and a few moderators. Their actions ultimately destroyed that server, and it had to be disbanded because these two retards, both leftoids by the way, couldn't get along. And this is just like one example of these quote-unquote safe space communities and how they end up. So yeah, you invite people like those into those, they're gonna fucking explode. Eventually. Like, it's like a premonition. It's fated to happen. Because they naturally don't attract rightoids. I mean, they do, but in the hate rate kind of way. There aren't any, which is a bit shame. I think there's definitely potential, though. And here we come to Claude the Red, like a very good example of that. But before I get to this guy in particular, let me tell what other things there is on that Commie VTuber server. Run partially by this guy, Claude the Red. So they have 3 channels dedicated to free stuff. Like anything they can get for free is posted in those 3 channels, and there's 3 channels of that. So basically, all the begging for money, all that shit, all of that has 3 different channels on their server. And what do these lefty communist VTubers talk about on that server? Well, I didn't screenshot of that because it's mostly like boring stuff like, you know, capital. Like, I'm not even joking. It's so fucking stereotypical. Like, capitalism bad, rightoids bad, alt-right bad. Like, same shit regurgitated over and over again. But there's one other topic that they all have in common: how much they fucking hate work. And this guy especially exemplifies this. This is a VTuber, by the way, or so he calls himself. Him, Comrade Monkey, last live 7 months ago. That's not true. He was last live 3 years ago. DMs are open for death threads and memes. VTweeter, anarcho-syndicalist. Hello, fellow VTubers. Do you hate capitalism? Does the state stink? Is a coat made with 20 yards of linen? Say no more. Join the VTuber international server for those VTubers with nothing but hate for fascism and capital. And here's the memes that that he advertises himself with. Nom the rich, yip the safe, yoink the means. Being VTuber to spread communist propaganda. I'd say this is like worse than what Mana had. Like, you know, guys, the saying that the left can meme. Like, I think this exemplifies this like to a fucking T. The left can't meme. Shout out to VTubers who are unapologetically political. I bring a sort of anarcho-communist vibe to the VTuber community that fascists don't really like. And why would you put yourself on like some fat guy's body? I don't get that. I guess low self-esteem. 2023. Thinking of 2013. Trying about it. Interpret that as you will. I interpret that this guy hasn't had work in 10 years' time. And why do I think that? Well, because here's basically this translates to another work week, something like that. A communist hangs himself because he has to work another week. Told you, they're all allergic to honest work. I identify as a kilometer per second because I want to kill myself. The bears of the salmon running Disney's Brother Bear are communists and live in the commune, blues in the song. We are here for each other, happy to give. There's more than enough here for everyone. All we have, we share, and all of us care. We are happy to give and take, give and taken to the friends we're making. There's nothing we won't do. You know the best of all, we're happy to share it all. I'll be there for you, I know you'll be there for me too. These motherfuckers definitely read the bear equivalent of Marx and Kropotkin. Yeah, this is what communists do on Twitter. This is this guy's content. Because he doesn't stream. And this is my encounter with this guy. What are these deleted tweets, you may ask here? This is basically a dude calling for people to get killed. Like, they asked a question like, who on Twitter would you like to get killed? And Claude answers, because I made fun of him beforehand for being a retard. I'm voting for that kid who runs VTuber Cringe. Mind you, I'm probably twice this guy's age too. And here's me responding to that guy. Hey, I heard you want me dead. You want to make your dreams a reality, Commie? I'm right here. He's waiting for you, bro. Literally, I do not care. Again, commies. Always calling for someone's death, always wanting to be violent. But, you know, when push comes to shove, they literally don't care. I mean, I welcome this. I welcome this. Like, send all the threats you want at me. I don't give a fuck. In fact, show up physically in front of me. I want a confrontation. Like, give it to me. Like, you want me dead? Like, there's no like internet tough guy shit like that I'm spewing right now. Like, you want me dead? Like, you come here to me. Like, realize your dreams. Don't let your fucking dreams be memes. Come to me and let's have a bout. We can have it to the death if you want to. Just come prepared. Because I will be prepared. But yeah, he literally doesn't care. I like antagonism because I can make fun of it. Especially when people act this way towards me. But yeah, this was just a small overview of how communists act on Twitter and in VTubing. You may ask, why isn't there more of this? Why? Because commie VTubers don't have content. They don't do anything. They do the shit that this guy does. They sit on Discord and complain about people they can't affect in any sort of way, and then they make violent threats. And when you confront them about it, they shake in their fucking pantaloons. And that's it. So yeah. Welcome to fucking commies on the VTuber side of things. I hope you enjoyed it. This fucking exploration of retardation and dare I say faggotry. I can say faggotry on Kick now. I can be a bigot even though I'm not. I just use the word faggot as an equivalent to someone extremely stupid. At least I can say it here. I've been sitting on this word for so many months, but Elon Musk doesn't let me. I'd buy fucking Twitter Blue if I could say slurs like that to people, but I can't, unfortunately. But yeah, let me catch up to the chat because I've been ignoring you guys because I wanted to get through this shit. I wanted to get through this shit like very, very fast because I hate talking about comics. Let's see what you guys been talking about. Yeah. He wants a free helicopter ride, yeah. He wants a free news helicopter ride. He's a bit pudgy from eating all the rich. Yeah, like you know, for people that don't want to live in excess, that want to share everything with everybody, they sure as fucking hell like to gorge themselves on stuff and like live very hedonistic lifestyles. I don't know if you guys remember, like if you ever saw a thread like this on Twitter or any other place, like there's Tankies and there's other communists like talking about what would they do in a society that's fully communist, and there's like people saying, oh, I would run a daycare for children, I would be a seamstress, I would own a bookshop, and then people go and answer to them like, you would own a bookshop? You would own something? 20 years in the fucking mines, nigga. And that's how it fucking goes. Like all of these people, all of these intel fucking intellectuals, they would go fucking work in the mines. They would go in the fucking mines. They have no idea. Like people, commies, like modern commies would use them as, you know, propaganda tools because that's what all they're good for. And then they would discard them. They would get fucking put against the fucking wall or made to work in the fucking mines because someone has to. Or in the fucking fields. I mean, all that food isn't gonna make itself. The the fucking marvel of these fucking threads is also the fact that some of these commies don't even know how logistics work, like how food actually arrives at shops. Like, one commie was asked the question, like, if no one is gonna work at the farm and you're basically you know, this bookshop owner or something like that, even though you wouldn't be under that kind of system, like, who's gonna make the food? What do you mean? I can just go to the shop and buy some food. That's their answer. That's the level of fucking entitlement and lack of education of these people. They just eat dreams and get fatter on these dreams. Usually not only in their heads but also physically somehow. Not to body shame, but yeah, that's how they are. That's how they be. But this feels good. I had 2 hours to shit on stupid fucking commies, and that feels good. It feels good. I fulfilled my purpose. So if you guys like this shit, throw me some follows on Kick. I'm gonna have more streams like this because this is fun. And Kick is not as bad of a platform as I thought it would be. It's kind of a sort of a clone of Twitch, I guess. It has a lot of functionality that Twitch has. Well, a lot of it missing, I guess, still, but, you know, whatever. I think it's gonna get better, and if more interesting people come here, then all the better. Like, I've seen a few VTubers that are kind of worth attention move to here. I had a really really sad story to tell, because my name on here is VTuber Cringe. Like, that's a name on account, and I followed a VTuber on here, like a small one that was cute and funny, and their alerts went off and said VTuber Cringe followed me, and she thought I was making fun of her, and I felt so bad for it. I felt really bad for it, so I had to go and apologize to her because she thought I was making fun of her by following her with a name like VTuber Cringe. But ultimately we came to an understanding that I was just following her because I found her content interesting. But yeah, let me answer some questions because I got a question at least once. I noticed the different stream you can do. You can do one of low tier god. You can do one of low tier god. That would be funny. Infamous local. Well, low tier god is the VTuber, but you know, if I were to expand to like some shit, I wouldn't mind. But low tier god is like a legend. Like there's like hours and upon hours of things I would talk about low tier god. What I would want to do stream about eventually, like I have so many fucking clips to show you guys. Like if you guys want that, I'm a big Wings of Redemption fan. I can write a book about Wings of Redemption. He's my favorite fucking local. His excuses and overall attitude towards life and everything else is just ultimately very pathetic and hilarious to me. I'm a big of Wings of Redemption fan, and I have so many clips saved up of him just doing stupid shit. I think you guys would enjoy that. I wouldn't even have to talk as much as I do on these normal VTuber streams. Because there's so much funny stuff. Like there's band compilations, there's like chair squeak compilations, there's troll compilations, there's troll donations that he gets that are also compilations. There's weight gain compilations because Wings of Redemption is a incredibly obese dude, and that's like one part of his you know, problems in life. That's because he has serious weight problems. So yeah, I can do a stream about him at one point if I feel like it. Like I have so many clips saved up. Let's see what else you guys have been talking about here. Are you guys been discussing things about yourself about Israel? I'm not surprised you've been talking about Israel. Not surprised at all. Statistics are not racist. Yeah, statistics are not racist, but you know, when you're in denial that your hero Stalin didn't kill that many people, you're gonna be in denial. Which to me, again, is no different than Holocaust denial. But I will give it to the commies. The commies are much better at hiding bodies than the Nazis are. The commies had years of experience in hiding the bodies. They still do, even nowadays. Yeah, look here, listen. That's some Primo stuff, guys. What's tomorrow? Because I want to do more of these streams, because like Twitch, I mean Kick has this thing where you have to reach certain like thresholds in order to be an affiliate and then a partner. I'm gonna try to aim to get a partner. It might be fun. I don't know if I can reach that, but it would be cool if that happened. I want to see where we can go with that kind of content on this platform, because it's brand new. So you know, there's all the possibilities to grow larger with this shit, and would be very fun, I have to say. But yeah, let's see what else you're gonna talk to. You can also invite VTuber, especially small ones that has the balls to join. I can do that. I can do that, and I think a few would line up to talk about shit. I wouldn't mind just having like Zatsu streams, or like I don't want to do interview streams, because what else I would be asking VTubers about? Like, why do you do VTubing? Like, why did you get doing VTubing? That shit's boring. I'd like to have like conversations with VTubers over shit. I wish Kirsche Verstal was streaming on Kick. I would rate her. In fact, I think we follow each other on Twitter, so I might ask her to like come onto my stream at one point, so we can just shoot the shit. Kirsche is very fun, and based on her tastes in like entertainment and shit like that, and I think she's a similar age group to me, something like that. So I think we'd have a lot of things in common to talk about, so that would be interesting. I wouldn't mind whatsoever to talk to Kirsche about stuff. There's also Sawa, there's Sour Grape. We also follow each other on Twitter. I could talk to her about some shit. I could potentially go on her stream, but I don't invite myself to people's stuff, so instead I'd rather invite them to my own shit. But first, I'd rather establish myself on this platform a bit more before I invite them to do anything. So we'll see. Does Sawa have a Kick account? If she does, I will follow her. Kuri emotes. I do have a few Kuri emotes, but I will add them later. I actually have to fix up my whole channel, because even my fucking Kick buttons look like garbage. I need to make custom ones for myself before I do anything else. I actually want to, before we end, I actually want to find the streamer we can raid, so they're surprised. We're currently the second biggest VTuber streamer on Kick, which is funny. We were the first one yesterday, with a similar viewership too. I know Mari was here a moment ago before I started streaming. I don't think she's streaming anymore. So I don't know who to raid, because I might just raid someone that, you know... Let's just say there are some VTubers on here that aren't based, and I don't want to, you know, inconvenience anybody or raid someone that's not based. I don't want to cause them trouble. Or I don't want to accidentally give viewers to someone that's a weirdo. I don't see anyone interesting currently streaming, unfortunately. I do see an anti fucking streaming here, but I'm not gonna stoop to their level. I'm not gonna fuck with them in such a way that they do fuck with people. So instead of raiding someone, I'm not gonna raid anybody. And I'll save that when there's good people about. But if you guys have any people on here that are worth following, do let me know in the chat. I won't be resetting the chat for a bit, so you guys can leave me recommendations for shit, like anything you wish to see, any people you wish for me to follow, whatever. Need whatever here. There's no there's no limits to what you can type in this chat. But yeah, I'll finish for now because these kick streams were supposed to be short ones, just for the test purposes of and shit like that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. I'm gonna play you guys off with some good music. So you guys stay hydrated, stay off of Twitter because it's full of retards and faggots. Plenty of faggots, non-gay people, I mean. Plenty of damn people that I call faggots. I wonder if I'm gonna get banned from this platform for saying that eventually. But even if I don't, then I'm just gonna continue to have my fun. But yeah, you guys take care of yourself. Don't be stupid. Don't be a communist. Bye bye.